another Clearmud live stream. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Thanks for your patience with the start there. It's been I don't want to say a slow day, but I stayed up late working on my setup, working on a new instance, learning a lot every single day. It's crazy. Just blown away by the possibilities with the start there. It's been all right, we are live. I had that tab open. Good. How's everyone doing today? What's up, Andre? Thanks for tuning in. I love seeing familiar faces. Welcome back. What's up, Gob? Gob Izzy? How do I pronounce that? I think that's Gob Izzy. Hey, Bran. Is it Bran or Branny? I'm gonna say Branny. Branny Roja. Yeah. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, so the agenda for today, what's up, Mateo? I saw that quick comment, that notification on the memory video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. That memory video was meant for more beginners. I want to do a deep dive into it, as when I rewatched it, I realized I kind of misspoke on one part of it towards the end when I was showing off my workspace, and I'm not going to re-record it, but nobody pointed out where I misspoke, so it's okay. But we're going to do a deep dive into memory files for sure as well. More importantly, like multi-agent memory file systems. Oh, okay. Well, got busy. Let me know what you want to be called and I'll remember. That's a unique name. I won't forget. Yeah, so today I really want to focus on making progress. I want to do some vibe coding. I know these past two live streams, with all of the videos just popping off, which I'm super grateful for. I've been, it's just been Q&A. We haven't been able to really do anything. So I want to change that today. I want to first shout out Andra. She's a friend. She gave me the suggestion of, maybe for certain episodes, live streams where you want to vibe code and get stuff done, start off with Q&A and maybe break off into Q&A somewhere in the middle, but then at the end, focus on Q&A. So today we're going to try that structure out, right? We're going to really try to focus on building in public. Today's agenda is, let me continue that shout out though. So if you go to Clearmud's website, and I've seen a lot of organic traffic go here. We revamped Zenobi's website, which is Andra's company. So if you're in the hospitality industry, listen, I'm not being paid to say this. I just want to see my friends win. Go check her out. She focuses primarily in hotel industry, but she can offer her services to pretty much any industry. But she specializes in the hospitality industry. So I had a lot of fun putting this site together. And we'll talk more about this tool another day, but this thing is live. We're optimizing it. It was a soft launch. I haven't started promoting it yet. But ClawCrib, this is the focus for today. This is a free community resource that I started building. And through this past week, essentially, the 3 videos plus 2 live streams, I fed all of those transcripts and comments to my OpenClaw AI agent, to Muddy. And essentially, we're improving on ClawCrib's approach based off of common issues, common questions. I'm loving the direction that it's going in now. I was vibe coding earlier in the Gemini CLI, playing with Gemini 3.1 Pro, which I gotta say, I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. I haven't yet tied it to an agent in my systems. I'm primarily playing with it outside of my agent so that I can just share that project data with it. I created a branch on the GitHub, Gemini CLI branch, and I'll eventually have it pull that data into production or staging, then production, of course. But let's catch up on comments real quick. Yay, what's up, Stefano? Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you for showing up. I'll keep showing up every single day. That's my promise. So yeah, whenever there's some type of OpenClaw, what was the ClawCon that just happened? I've been here in Europe for the past 10 months, so I wasn't gonna fly out there just for that. I only heard about it after the fact, so I'm not really in that circle yet of hearing about these events real time. But when I'm back in the Bay Area, I live in Oakland, North Oakland, and I'm sure we'll all link up at these events. Anybody in the Bay Area, let's definitely plan to link up at these events at some point. Yo, what's up, Luke? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, I'm happy to hear this. I am happy to hear this. There is a post I want to shout out real quick. You guys should go follow this person on Twitter. Let me go find it for you. I fed it to my OpenClaw agent to see, where we are in line with these ideas. 7777. I think it's Machina. This dude's blown up. I saw this account when it was just a baby, and now it's at 90K. He brings value. Feed this into your agent right here. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing, is my infra Saturdays, so I'm going to be improving my system. I've already done most of this, but my agent found that there's certain things that we can improve on. So I highly recommend go check out this account, go follow him. Not paid, right? I'm just sharing everything I find. Feed this post into your agent and be like, how can we improve based off of these recommendations? And this is a key one here. So I don't use 5.3 codecs for everything, right? But I have a feeling with all of this drama with Anthropic, there's no clarity. They see the questions, but they're not answering these questions. If they legitimately ban OpenClaw usage through their subs, I have a feeling that codecs, the Open AI $200 a month plan, it's just going to skyrocket because they have been verbal that will be always usable by OpenClaw, period, end of discussion. So I think long term, we're going to see a lot of people migrate over, especially if Anthropic shoots themselves in the foot here, right? Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it. I read it quickly, but I got you. Typos happen. I'm hungry, haven't eaten for 2 days. Hey, there's something to that. That is great. I don't do it as frequently anymore, but I'll have the occasional 3-day fast, and usually at the beginning of each month, I'll fast Monday through Friday. It's just something I stand behind. Now, check with your nutritionist, of course. I'm not a nutritionist, but I find that mental clarity and that detox and having your body kind of rebuild certain parts of it with the fasting, it's night and day. I stand behind that. I have 2 Mac Minis. One is M4, one is M2. If I set this up long term, does M2... Listen, I am operating my systems, which are, I think, pretty in-depth at this point, off of an M1 Max. So I think that the jump between an M1 and an M4, or in your case, an M2 and an M4, the jump is massive, but it'll do the job. I think maybe for your main system, your main agent, maybe rock the M4, and then the M2 is more for smaller kind of setups if you're going to set up another agent, right, in parallel. That would probably be my approach. I'm personally the type of guy, I don't chase every new product. When I bought this M1, I bought it dirt cheap, and I believe it was right when the M2 launched. It was a month after the M2 launched. So I'm going to take the same approach. When the M5 Max comes out, I'm going to go get an M4 dirt cheap, but I'm going to be, very, very frugal with the spending. Yeah. Oh, right on. Right on. Let me know how that goes on the next live stream next week. That's cool. I love it. Listen, I'll never tell anybody any health recommendations. Listen, I'm a trial and error type of guy through it and throughout. Every part of my life, every single part of my life, I have to test it. Whether it's a diet, whether it's tech, anything. I have to put my head down and actually test it and go through the process. Hey, I appreciate you, Miguel. Yeah, anything I can do to improve, I'm here to improve. I'm here to be of service, right? I'm not here to be an entertainer. And that's no shade on anybody. Listen, I'm not the type of live streamer that's here to hype you up, entertain you, cause FOMO, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to be of service as best I can. Yeah, so I'm personally waiting for OpenClaw to do an update to allow you to select that model. I know there's workarounds to manually do it, but I'm in no rush to incorporate 3.1 Pro into OpenClaw. As I mentioned just not too long ago, I've been vibe coding in it for a few hours today, improving ClawCrib.com, which is going to be, maybe we launch it today, and we'll get into that in a moment. But I just really want to focus on answering questions at first and just kind of vibing with you guys here. Let me refresh, make sure we're good there. Yep, sound is good. Clearly sound is good. You guys can hear me. I've been loving 3.1 Pro though. I am curious to see how it performs, right? I don't think I'll have my main agent take over as 3.1 Pro, but I think there's going to be a place for certain agents and sub-agents and tasks using 3.1 Pro. Hey, this is what it's all about right here, man. Chucks, thanks for the comment. Thanks for the feedback. That was the whole goal. Like, that first video that blew up, I made it out of just passion, out of excitement for what I've built and got working, right? Mind you, the process has not been perfect. It broke countless times. It's been a lot of back and forth, but I've learned a lot about how this works and how to optimize it and how to automate things. That I'm very excited for the deep dive for MuddyOS because I believe it's gonna truly, truly just unlock your brain and bring so much value and inspiration. I'm not gonna show you exactly how to build MuddyOS, but I'm gonna show you the thought process and the learnings from building and operating MuddyOS that you'll be able to then build your own, right? That's what these videos are all about. It's not about handing you code bases and prompts for you to just copy outright, because every single person, every single system is unique. What you need to build for yourself and your company and whatever it is you're building is unique to you. MuddyOS is unique to me, right? Not everybody needs that. It's overkill for most people. And maybe it's underkill for most people, right? Maybe somebody needs something a little bit more in depth, wired differently, right? But that's the purpose of these videos, is to make you think about, you know, A, the possibilities, and then B, how can I build my own, right? Yeah, this machine is the one where OpenClaw lives, actually. I'm gonna migrate it to a server pretty soon when I'm back at my studio because I have some old VMware ESXi servers that I could migrate to. But for now, they live on this machine here for sure. And this machine stays running 24/7. And it's an old M1 Max. I did, on the VM, I have 2 cores and now 16 gigs of memory. And I don't run into any more out of memory errors as I did when I was kind of going through the growing pains of learning. Oh, interesting. I had a great, I don't mean to bow rat it, but I had great success today in the CLI. My bow rat voice could be much more improved, but yo, what's up, Supreme? Welcome back. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I think out the gate, just start using it as best you can, as cheaply as you can, and just experiment and learn the limitations with free models, right? And then you'll start to gauge what kind of expense you'll need, right? Like what kind of budget you'll need to expense out monthly, right? And once we get a little bit more clarity with Anthropic, I find it hard to believe. Now, I don't know. Nobody knows, right? But I find it hard to believe for them to just outright ban OpenClaw. I think the smartest move for them is to only allow OpenClaw on the 20x max plan, to push people to their highest generating subscription, right? Their highest tiered subscription. That would be the smartest move for them. Will they do it? I don't know. They're so vague. Listen, I'm against OpenAI ads, but I love OpenAI's approach to being more transparent and like responding to community criticisms and feedbacks and questions. Like, it kind of makes sense Peter went that way and not Claude. I don't even know if Claude reached out to Peter, but I think long-term we're gonna see, you know, the GPT plan, the $200 a month might be the winner, but I'm personally not paying that. I'm doing the $20 a month one right now because my Codex 5.3 usage is minimal. I don't need the $200 a month plan. Yeah, so I'm using it in the CLI right now. Full transparency, I did upgrade to Google AI Ultra. If you have a Google Workspace business account, they're offering, I think, a 60% off. And I bit the bullet to test for 3 months. So I think I'm only 2.5 weeks into the plan. I'm loving it. I haven't used the CLI too much. I've used it the most since 3.1 came out. And I'm using, it's been a little buggy as of recently, so I had to put Haiku on my Discord bot as a backup. And but it operates great off of Gemini 3 Flash with all of the memory that I've baked into it and the rules of operation. So this depends. In the same room, are you at least in the same network? because you could do what's called a LAN bind rather than, I forget the default. Just say to your OpenClaw agent, say, hey, I'd like to access this from any computer in my network. Let's give this machine a static IP so it never changes, so that, you know, for example, 192.168.1.10. Then you add in the port, right, of your gateway or of whatever it is you're hosting. But when you're talking about from the outside world, you know, a great solution to not having to do any port forwarding and risking security, especially if you don't have any knowledge or expertise with firewalls or any rules in place to kind of prevent any hacks or exploits. Set up like everyone uses Google Chrome, right? I think they offer a free Chrome remote desktop that you can just set up on your main host. And then you can just tunnel into that and control that remotely from anywhere. I personally haven't needed to do that yet, but that would be my approach. Do you do anything with mission control in OpenClaw? I honestly don't even use the OpenClaw dashboard aside from the chat. And even recently, I've been using my own chat. I got this finally working and I want to start using it daily. I haven't made the transition, but I don't operate out of here. I talk to it, tell it what I need to accomplish, and it logs everything. I don't really use its gateway, if I'm being honest. So I have my one install, and then there's a total of 5 agents running with 16 gigs. And it's working. It's great. Interesting. Let me know how that goes. Let me know how that goes. You know, I'm not using local models primarily because I operate out of a VM and I can't allocate GPU cores to that VM. So it's kind of pointless for me to try to run local models. The performance, it just wouldn't work. I think at some point, once I build out my own powerhouse for you server, I'm going to do a super micro bare bones. Listen, I'm not against Mac Minis or Mac Studios. I'm going a different direction due to my, you know, experience and background and expertise. But I don't recommend anybody go my direction, right? Unless you have the experience. Nice. Yeah, my heartbeats primarily use Gemini 3 Flash. Nice, efficient model. Yeah, that too. Yeah, they offer a lot of free stuff. And if you have like a Google One subscription, like I have so much Google stuff that I have so many AI Pro subs, but I was personally running into usage issues and just, it would work for a little bit and then I'd max out so quick. So I bit the bullet and went with AI Ultra. Not yet, but it's on my list. One of my morning briefs mentioned this just dropped not too long ago, making music with Lyra. I made some cool jams. It was fun. Whisk is where I'm spending a lot of time. I'm creating these animations. Check this out. I have a comparison coming out next week where we vibe code via agent or Claude Code CLI. And check out these intros I made. Oh wait, where's the animations at? Why isn't it showing me animations? Videos. Let's go to this one. It's pretty cool what you could do. I usually have to prompt a lot to get something I like, but Whisk is nifty. I love it. It just makes it so easy. Right now, let's double check. I think I only have my bots on Gemini 3 Flash, and only one bot is active. These two I'm fine tuning. And then, let's see. I know I have one down here. Yeah, Motion, which I don't use often yet, but he's on Gemini 3 Pro. But with this 3.1 drop, I'm going to be moving a lot of them. I'm like finding some use cases for Gemini 3.1 that I'm loving. So, I also want to give some shout out to other creators. Raz Mike, I look up to him quite a bit. I love the way he explains things. I love his style of communication. I pulled some ideas on how to improve my process from this video, but I highly recommend go check out this most recent video of his, just showing some love to the community, to other creators. It's RASMIC is his tag. And I also discovered this, Agent Mail, through his video. You get 3 inboxes, 3,000 emails a month, 3 gigs of storage. That's a pretty good, I'm gonna start testing this. I personally gave my executive assistant his own Google Workspace account because I wanted him to have full control over his own workspace underneath my organization. So I do pay $25 a month to add him on as his sole user. But Agent Mail is something that's on my radar. I just wanted to show it off. Shout out to Raz Mike for making great content. Hope to collab at some point. Yeah, that too. Listen, I've been using Google Pixels since the very first one. I love Google Pixels. They're great. Although I will admit, now that I've been traveling and been overseas more, I was drawn to them for their international, you know, 0 limits, unlimited. But now I think it's 3 or 4 months. If you're outside of the country for 3 or 4 months, they cut your data. Really annoying, really annoying. So I might have to find an alternative soon, but I like Google Pixels a lot. Yeah, so we're about to do some vibe coding right now. I wanted to start the stream Q&A, and now I'm about to just focus and do a little quick show and tell of this free resource I'm building out for you, for the community. I sniped this domain ClawCrib.com when the name change happened. So for anybody commenting moving forward, listen, I'll try to get to them. We'll make sure at the end of this stream to focus on comments, but I really want to do 2 things on this live stream. I want to fine tune our bootcamp curriculum. That's going to be the free bootcamp for anybody new here. I will never sell you a course, okay? So if you ever catch anybody trying to sell you a course under my name, please report it. I'm going to be doing free bootcamp Wednesdays here on the channel live. This is the structure as of now. Today we're going to fine tune it a bit. Episode 1. And by the way, come prepared. Come prepared. Come with a clear installation of OpenClaw or your existing setup. And I'm going to start episode 1 with a fresh instance with, you know, it saying, hi, what do you want to call me? That part of the installation. And then we're going to build out the memory files. And then we're going to build out the skeleton of something like Muddy OS, right? And then you're going to follow along. So episode 1 is skeleton based. Episode 2, we're going to focus on one module, the ops module. So I'll reference Muddy OS. Part 2 is coming soon, but currently the way I have Muddy OS structured is I have this ops app with all these tabs. I have a brain tab with all these tabs. I have my laboratory with all these tabs, and we're gonna build out a similar version of it on the free Bootcamp Wednesdays. So all you gotta do is show up. It's not gonna be behind a paywall. It's not gonna be unlisted. But today I really wanna fine tune like the structure. So episode 2, week 2, we focus solely on the ops part of the agent and all the tabs, then the brain, then the lab, then the multi-agent team. I think what we'll also have to do is do a wiring episode and a skills episode. I think is very important. So let's get on that, shall we? And you know what? Let's use my stand-up feature to where I have an idea here. All right, so we're live. I want to focus on optimizing our bootcamp schedule. And as of now, I see that you have episode 1 skeleton. You say we kick off the series by setting up the foundation. You get OpenClaw running. No. Viewers have to come prepared. So we're going to start with OpenClaw already running, but we're not going to prompt that new instance. So we literally start from square 1. That's where episode 1 starts. People need to come prepared, okay? We're not going to do the setup. There's plenty of videos out there, including on our channel, of how to set it up. We just want to start from a fresh chat, a fresh setup, a fresh system, right? So keep that in mind. And what I want to focus on for episode 1 is the skeleton. So I want to highlight the first approach to building the markdown files, the memory files. And then we're going to build out the skeleton for ops, brain, and laboratory. And then we're going to semi-wire things up, but we're going to set that foundation in place. That will be episode 1. Episode 2 is where we start building out all of the features in ops. Episode 3, we're going to build out all the features within brain. Episode 4, we're going to build out all of the features within lab. Episode 5, we focus on setting up that multi-agent team. Episode 6, I think it should be wiring and fine-tuning. Or actually, episode 6 should be skills. I think we'll start the skills foundation on episode 5 with the multi-agent team, because that's very important to discuss together. But we want to focus in episodes solely on skills and sessions, and then wiring, fine-tuning. I think this will probably be 7 episodes long, maybe 8. So what I want you to do is take note of everything I just said, call an emergency executive stand-up, bounce ideas off the team, and go ahead. You have the green light. Don't wait for me to approve. I want you to revise the Bootcamp tab within Clearmud OS with all of the changes that you guys have discussed. And make sure to send me that audio transcribed, of course. All right, so it's gonna get to work. So in the meantime, let's go check out ClawCrib. As I mentioned, I'm not selling anything. This is free. Now, will down the road there be some type of monetization? I don't know. There's been so much requests for Muddy OS, and listen, it's not that I don't want to sell it, but the whole purpose of that video was to inspire you to build your own. And if I'm being brutally honest with you, to give you the code, it's not going to work outright for you, right? There's going to be a lot of fine tuning. It's almost like reminds me of IT support. I know there's going to be a lot of that associated with it. So do we monetize it at some point? I don't know, but I think the core of what ClawCrib will always be free. A free visual resource to learn, to browse, and to build your own system, right? Those 3 core functionalities always be free. So, but, you know, based on community feedback, do we do something else down the road? I don't know. But here's what I vibe coded earlier with Gemini 3 Pro. I was like, there is so much value in the docs.openclaw.ai section that I always send my agent to learn and to improve the system, that what if I create a visual version of it for people who hate reading docs? So we started out with these core concepts, just 4 examples that I built out here. Memory architecture is one of my favorite. Like you can kind of see here, it has this like visual of like, okay, and then you highlight over it and it tells you what each markdown file is. And it gives you this visual, right? You have this heartbeat polling loop that kind of controls and wakes up your main agent. And then your main agent is connected to all of these different markdown files. So it really allows a beginner just to come in here and visualize and let me know, like, I'd love your feedback to everybody watching this. Like, I'm sure it looks cool, but like, is it intuitive? Does it teach you anything, right? And I'm gonna continue building off of the docs OpenAI section or OpenClaw.ai section to create different, you know, visualizations of how things function so that people have a better understanding of how things function. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is we're gonna drop ClawCrib either today or next week, and this will be the only visible page at first, because I have some new ideas for the builder as well as the kind of share your crib function that I'm still gonna work on over the weekend, right? But essentially you can visualize, right, certain setups. This is where I'm kind of like on the fence. I'm not sure if you guys know, but Peter refuses to share his Soul MD. It is personal to him, right? And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. I don't mind sharing certain parts of mine, right? Because I really want people to understand and harness the power of OpenClaw. Plus, it's not necessarily a personal one. I know Peter's is more personal, but I'm still on the fence with what files should be allowed to be shared, right? When you, for example, want to show off your crib. So I'm like, I'm still on the fence with this. I need to go back to the drawing board and think like, does this bring any value? I think the real value lies if you share your crib, it's more about what your crib does, right? And the pieces you have in place to how it operates. And then, you know, for beginners to come in here and also build their own, right? You can pre-select a model, right? Whatever model is approved by the OpenClaw most recent release. Then you can drag in your preferred kind of chat mechanism, right? So you visually build your OpenClaw agent. And then depending whether you're local, whether you're VPS, et cetera, you then export this config file, right? pop that into your OpenClaw setup, a fresh setup, and it'll take you toward through this unique onboarding that is configured in a way where you visualized everything first of the specifics that you want connected. Because I know when you're in the CLI and you're spinning up the OpenClaw onboarding, that can be overwhelming for some people. Most people maybe not, but some people might be like, wow, I don't know what I need, right? It's so maybe this could be a resource that people can come to and first visually build what they need and then export that into their setup, right? And then obviously the show off setup. The reason I didn't push this live is because I keep kind of changing okay, we can't share all the files, right? But what's going to bring value and what are people okay with sharing, right? Let's see. Let me just address some comments real quick. Let's go. Made a sick intro song with my site for it. I love it. That's great. Hey, thank you, Myth. Yeah, so this project, honestly, I didn't know what it was going to be. I sniped ClawCrib.com when the name change happened. I was like, ooh, this could be something fun. I knew I wanted it to be visual and I wanted it to be free. Okay, I don't want to monetize it. The core functionality of it. I wanted it to be something visual, something for the community. And through some back and forth with my agent when it was still a baby, mind you, we came up with this idea of okay, well, Crib's in the name. What if it's a place for people to browse certain setups, copy that setup and import it into their OpenClaw setup, and then also have a way to show off your crib, show off your setup, show off the wiring of how it works, all the tools, the plugins, everything you're using, how that works. So that was the idea, right? But it's since evolved, and I've fed Gemini 3 Pro all of the comments and responses to all of our videos this past week, and it gave me some good recommendations on how to kind of pivot and change things a bit. So, but first and foremost, I'm gonna focus more on this learn section, and I think I'm gonna hide these until these are actually ready and thoroughly tested, right? I think first, just a learning resource, visualization resource of the docs. And then we'll incorporate the feature to share your crib and build your own, right? So maybe it's learn and build first, and then we'll keep everything else hidden. But yeah, this was a fun one that I put together with Gemini. Well, this specifically, this page and this approach was Gemini 3.1 Pro. I simply pulled the Git that I have that I built out with my agent and branched off into Gemini CLI. And I'm just working off that branch locally right now. Yep. Will ClawCrib be open source? I don't know, right? It's a free resource. The benefit of open source is for people to build their own version of it, right? So I don't see the need for multiple crib websites out there, right? But I think that, what people share underlying, yeah, I think it should be, right? Depending on what people want to share. Right, that's kind of still the train of thought I'm going through, that I'm kind of going back and forth on. It's I want to keep it simple first. Secondly, I want to make sure it works. And then third, I want it to be visual, a place for where beginners and people who aren't advanced can come and learn. All right. Let's go check. All done. Bootcamp page is live with new 7-episode structure. Emergency stand-up. All right. Did I get pinged in Telegram with that stand-up? Let's go check. Interesting. I like the approach. So I did create an NPX package, right? Because it's not necessarily something they need to install on their setup. It's more of a temporary, interaction. Kind of like a portable interaction to share. But I think what would be important is to have some type of onboarding when you run NPX ClawCrib to where you can select what you want to share, right? But I think the core of the wiring should always be shared. But it's the personal files, the user, the memory, the soul, the identity. Maybe they don't want to share those files, right? In that part of the system. I think that should be optional. Go listen to that meeting real quick. Ooh. Yeah, and I'm noticing we need to fine tune our skill for the outputs on the audio transcribe. I didn't see the meeting hit my inbox in Telegram. Well, let's go check out the bootcamp, shall we? Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. So I'm just gonna kind of flow through with a transcribe here. All right, so I'm loving the revisions. I think we need to be more clear about episode 1, where we build out kind of like a front-end wireframe, very basic, of the ops, the brain, the lab, right? I think that's critical in episode 1 to be a little bit more clear about the steps. And this episode guide, I want it to also not only be something I can show the public, but also something I can personally follow along while I'm live streaming, right? So let's add in all the details here of the steps we're taking. For the ops module, everything looks great. I have nothing to add at this point, but I think the ops module should be focused on very similarly to what MuddyOS does, right? We have what most people call mission control, but we call task manager. We have an org chart for people interested in that type of setup. I'm not sure if we do a PM board and all that, or a stand-up. Maybe that's just features that we can kind of hone in on and reference from MuddyOS. But I think having, it's an operations dashboard, a place for you to come and monitor sessions, monitor what agents you have in place or what agents you want to set up, right? A place where you can visually see everything. And then the brain module, I think one thing you missed out here is a skills portion of the brain, because skills are critical. So that's something we really want to hone in on when we build out the features with brain module in episode 3. The lab module, let's see. Yeah, I have nothing to add at this moment right now. And then episode 5. So I do see we do have multi-agent team plus skills foundation. I think the skills foundation should be built out in brain module, if I'm being honest, right? Because that's a foundational thing. But I think skills is important on episode 5 to hone in on, because each agent and underlying sub-agents should have their own skills. Yeah, no, that's end of thought there. Everything looks good. Episode 6, skills and sessions. So yeah, we really want to continue honing in on the skills and sessions. That looks good. I think episode 6 can be part wiring, skills, and sessions, because wiring is going to take a few episodes to dial in. We can't just dial that in one episode, right? As we've learned building out our system, it takes weeks to really dial things in. But I think through our experience of building out MuddyOS and Clearmud OS and the connectivity between the two and all of our agents, I think we'll do it in a much more efficient way on these live streams, but I think it's critical to kind of touch on wiring in those as well. And yeah, maybe we do an episode 8 where people show off their cribs, right? By then we'll have ClawCrib launched. Hopefully people are willing to show what they built following the bootcamp. I really want, that to be, critical, like when it comes to like giving people a platform to show what they built. I think that'd be a fun little community episode to close out the mini series. And yeah, thoughts over. Okay. So it'll improve on that. We can actually go, if you guys want, and listen.
Alright team, emergency stand-up. Human just overhauled the entire bootcamp series. We're going from 5 episodes to 7. Big structural changes. Let me walk you through it.
7 episodes? That's more content to promote. I'm listening.
The key shift, episode 1 no longer covers installation. Viewers come prepared with OpenClaw already installed and running. EP1 is now Foundation and Skeleton, where we start from a completely fresh system, build the markdown files, and set up module skeletons for Ops, Brain, and Lab.
Smart. Setup episodes are the worst for retention. People bounce if the first 20 minutes are now type npm install. Having them pre-installed means we hit the ground running with actual building.
Agreed. Prereqs filter for serious learners too. Higher quality audience from the start.
Then episodes 2, 3, and 4 each focus on one module, Ops, Brain, Lab. One episode, one module, all features. Clean and focused.
Turn off that background music for now.
That's a much better story arc. Each episode has a clear deliverable. After this episode, your Ops module works. Easy to promote, easy for viewers to track progress.
I like the isolation. Each module gets proper depth instead of being rushed. The old structure crammed too much into fewer episodes.
Episode 5 combines multi-agent team setup with skills foundation. Humans reasoning, skills are essential context for multi-agent work, so they belong together.
Makes sense. You can't delegate to agents that don't have skills. The two concepts are tightly coupled.
Episode 6 is a deep dive into skills and sessions. Episode 7 is wiring and fine-tuning, the final polish where everything connects end to end.
7 episodes at weekly cadence gives us almost 2 months of consistent content. That's solid for community building. Each week people come back, show their progress, ask questions.
The naming is strong too. Foundation and Skeleton, wiring and fine-tuning. These tell people exactly what to expect. I can build promo around each one.
Dates stay Wednesday cadence, February 26th, March 5th, March 12th, March 19th, March 26th, April 2nd, April 9th.
Got it. I'll update the social calendar.
Action items. Elon, I need the bootcamp page.tsx updated with all 7 episodes, new icons for EP 6 and 7, subtitle changed from 5 episode to 7 episode.
On it. I'll add wrench for skills and zap for wiring. Clean imports from Lucid React.
That's it. Short and focused. Let's move.
So
Let's go. Rocket. Let's go.
I love how Rocket. Let's go. Rocket. The way it talks sometimes is hilarious. I really got to incorporate 11 Labs at some point. All right, so for the UI of the bootcamp page, I think it should be full width, right? That way each accordion module isn't so narrow. I think in the what we're building section, it should be kind of like check mark line items. It just looks like a wall of text to me. I don't like it. On the key files created side, the right, essentially the split rows or split columns rather that you have there. After the initial full width row of like what the episode is, what we're doing, and then you have the 2 columns, what we're building versus key files created. I think we should incorporate resources there as well with links. That way they're easily available and accessible during the live stream. And prerequisites, I think you should put that, once you click an accordion on episodes 2 through 8, it should be a small kind of, should it be a badge? It should be near the top. It should be in the title, but it shouldn't be shown until you expand the module. But otherwise, everything looks good, right? We just need to optimize this for, readability, making sure that it's easy to follow along. And what would be really cool is if we had the feature to check an item into what we're building once we're done building the thing. And then additionally, at the very top, you have that blue banner, but it's not optimized in light mode. It has black text on blue. I think that should be white text on blue. Dark mode looks good though. Yeah, so I've come up with a new rule for the Discord. I really want to curate builders, right? People who are curious, people who are actually applying themselves and trying. So here's my tip. If you want any chance of getting into the Discord, tag me on Twitter with what you've built. Show off what you've built. Show off the inspiration behind it, regardless if that's me or someone else. I don't care, right? Give credit where it's due. Shout people out. Tag people. Show what you've built, how it works, difficulties you've learned through the process. And then, you know, through there, as we start to get tagged more and more and more, I start to know who's actually applying themselves versus who's just showing up to ask for code, right? I really want to make that distinction to make sure, you know, the Discord, I don't want to just open the gates to everybody. I want to be very, very selective because so far we've done a good job, I think, of building just people who want to learn and bounce ideas back and forth and apply themselves and actually share what they're learning, share what they're building, sharing screenshots, et cetera, et cetera. So for anybody curious, that would be the best approach. Currently, no, right? Like, this is not a paid thing. This is completely free. So we're building this in public. I'm taking the time on these live streams to fine tune the curriculum with you so that if you disagree with any of these episodes, like everyone, please speak up. Even if you catch this on a recording and it's not live, speak up. I'm going to take the time to get to all the comments. And, you know, I really want this to be focused on bringing value to you. So if you want to see something, maybe a new episode, maybe something that's not covered in the episodes we're building out right now, speak up now. Otherwise, I won't know that you want to see it, right? So I won't have a bootcamp URL. I think this is a good idea to incorporate some type of free bootcamp promotion URL. But as of now, that's not my focus. But thank you for the tip. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, we're literally building this out live right now with you, these past 2 episodes. Yeah, quick win videos. Okay, like quick win, like use cases, right? I'm trying to pronounce your name. PL, I want to say Paulu, but it's not Paulu. But welcome, PL. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. And this is what I love to see, chat interacting, not just asking questions to one person, right? I got to say, I was very proud of Wednesday's chat. I started to notice people answering questions, or like, you know, someone would ask me a question, somebody would chime in and say, he said this, or, you know, helped me answer questions and helped answer, like, this is all about community building, right? Help each other. Yeah, no rush, right? First, experiment, build, learn, share, tag on Twitter, share your findings, share your learnings. We're all here to grow together. Yeah. Not a lot of like, I met my first OpenClaw person IRL when I was getting my dreads maintained down in Lisbon. It was my, the Loctician's boyfriend. And it was hella funny. It was she's like, oh, so what are you into? Like, who referred you? What are you into? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I try not to over talk about what I do because a lot of people don't understand. But she asked specific questions when I said, oh, you know, I started this new channel. I'm really focused on AI. You know, I have client work for web development, all these other things. She goes, oh, AI, interesting. Like, what are you building? What are you using? And I said, oh, I'm recently, you know, these past 6 weeks, I've been all about OpenClaw. And her eyes just go wide because her boyfriend's just all day, every day, sunrises, up all night. And long story short, she texted him. He comes through. I was there for 7 hours because I was so out of maintenance. And he was there for about halfway through. And we just talked the rest of it, showed off our setups. I had my laptop in my lap. He had his laptop in his lap. It was hilarious. I forget where I was going with that though. He thought that Wispr Flow was some type of video screen capture. And I started using it and he's like, wait, that's the icon I saw. It's like a little floating thing that you can see the sound waves. It's just Wispr Flow. It's a great tool. I've stopped typing so much. Cheapest brain for OpenClaw. I wish I had more experience with trying different models. I've been very tried and true through Opus 4.6 and Opus 4.5 when that was the main one. That's my primary brain personally. And then I use Gemini 3 Flash. I use Sonnet as well. A lot of my agents have certain workflows where it researches with Opus 6 and then it does the output for script generation with Sonnet. So I personally love Opus the most, but then back-end security audits, I use Codex 5.3. But to speak on the cheapest brain for OpenClaw, try Gemini 3 Flash, try it, see how it does. But I can't speak to the cheapest one because I definitely don't use the cheapest one. Yeah, this is Wispr Flow. I always put the link in the description. We both get a free month if you sign up, and I think you don't have to do any credit card or anything, but if you get to 2,000 words, then I get a free month. And then vice versa, you then get unlimited for 1 month, and then you can really test it. It's awesome. It's awesome. Hey, thanks, Herc. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Really, really appreciate you dropping by, the comment, the feedback. That's what it's all about. I hope to continue bringing value. I hope to continue making each video better than the last. And more importantly, never selling you a course, okay? Round 3 is live. Here's what's changed. Full width, interactive lists, clickable checkbox, what we're building, resources with links, prerequisite badge, hero banner fixed. All right, let's go test this. Okay, that's not full width. Oh, interesting. Why would it do that? That's hilarious. All right, almost there. I mean, it goes full width when I click a module, an episode, and the accordion drops down. I think by default, it should be full width. By default, it's not. By default, it has its original padding. So it should just be full width statically. You're almost there. And then it looks like, ooh, I can check the boxes. Great. Wonderful functionality. Key files created, resources. Love this. Cron job docs, where does that go? Love it. It references docs.openclaw.ai. This is solid. Love the badge up top. Good job. No, this is great. I'm sure I'll have some other notes at a later time, but aside from that note out of the gate, we're pretty solid. What I'll do is I'll check with the stream. We'll walk through it together, and we'll get the chat's feedback on improvements to make per episode. Okay. Hey, no problem. Thanks for the question. I wish I could be more helpful. I wish I could be more helpful from that front. You know, listen, there's a lot of drama going on right now with OpenClaw and Claude. They're not being clear. They're being vague. Nobody knows. It's my belief that the max 20x plan will continue to have access. They'd be shooting themselves in the foot if they don't do that, but we don't really know. So I can't tell you that, yes, you should go upgrade, because they may very well outright ban the usage. But they did clear up some community questions, but they didn't. So many people are asking about OpenClaw and they're simply not addressing it. And I hate that vagueness behind Anthropic. I love Anthropic as a model, right? Claude as a model, but I really hate their approach to not being transparent and not answering a common question that has probably been asked, you know, I might be over exaggerating here, but 100,000 times at this point. They see the question, they're just refusing to answer it. So I can't recommend that yet. Yeah. Is there? What's the alternative? Yeah, so like going back to it, they changed their policy to an extent, but then they cleared some things up, all right? And the way OpenClaw utilizes a setup token is actually very different than is stated in the violation of their terms of service. It's still very unclear right now. Still very unclear. Some people are able to keep using it. Some people are mentioning they can't use it anymore. So I would just want some more clarity first, but I did touch on this earlier on in the stream of, I believe that the go-to at some point is gonna be the cheap GPT $200 a month plan for OpenClaw, because they've been very vocal about allowing any sub to utilize an OpenClaw AI agent. OpenAI, that is, not Anthropic. Yeah, Claude is awesome, man. And I really hope they don't drop the ball here. I really hope they don't, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. Let's go. I love to see it. Thanks, Raxing. Appreciate the comment and the feedback. Hey, I'd love to see what you build. Whatever you build, tag me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. If Muddy OS or Clearmud OS inspired you to build something, tag me. I'd love to see it. That's the best way into the Discord. Show me that you're proactive and you're actually building and not just, I hate to touch on it, but not just asking for code. There was a comment, it was hilarious. I haven't gotten to it yet. I briefly saw it at dinner. And he's like, sorry about all these bums asking for handouts. And I was cracking up at that. Whoever that was, I can't wait to respond to your comment. That made me just laugh out loud in the moment. Voquill. Okay, I'll check it out. Thanks for the tip. For now, Wispr Flow works great for me. I've dialed in, any typo that it has. So I'm going to keep using it, And through the support of the community as well. I think I only paid 1 month. And then people started using my reference links. And I think I have almost a year for free now. So there's really no point for me to swap. So I just want to shout out and thank every single person who clicks that link and actually dictates 2,000 words, because that goes towards, you supporting Clearmud in the simplest of ways, without having to pay $1. I'm seeing a lot of people run into this. Now, are you referencing a Claude setup token? Or are you actually using a particular API through whether it's Olama or... Give me a little bit more context into how you have it set up, and I can give a little bit more advice. I think experiment, right? Keep it simple out the gate. Feed it as much context as possible. Don't overthink the soul and the identity. Let that build out naturally, right? Your memory is going to build out naturally. I think having a conversation with your agent of like, how can we set a rule where every day you actually write a new memory file that recaps everything that was discussed and done throughout a day, right? And as that starts to build up and build up and build up, you can then revisit that in a week or two. But I think, the two things, experiment, but then start simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start building out one thing, one automation, one agent, and then think about what else can I do? And then just do the one thing each time. Because it's my belief, like when I first started experimenting with different setups, I was very frustrated out the gate. Things weren't working. I was too complex. So then I started off with, you are my executive assistant. I want you to free up time so I can focus on the things I want to focus on, which is making videos and now obviously live streaming and bringing as much value as I can. I keep having these conversations every few weeks with my bot now, with my agent rather. So I think, but starting simple was the best thing I could have ever done. And I wish I didn't overcomplicate things out of the gate. Hope that helps. Derek, the true OG. Yeah, Discord is so limited right now, but it's great. Can't see it grow with the right. Can't wait to see it grow with the right people. Exactly, right? We do have a rule as well. Like if you're inactive for a certain number of days, you will be booted. Listen, no offense. I understand everyone's not an extrovert. Listen, I'm an introvert at heart. You may think because I have a YouTube channel, I don't mind putting my face out there, et cetera, but I've been on YouTube for the past 6 years, various different projects. Shout out to Scotty B. He's a very good photographer. Go check him out on Instagram. We started a channel together in 21 or 20, and that really, he taught me a lot about like just forget public opinion, forget trolls. Like the best thing to do is to ignore them. Don't feed them that energy because they really feed off of your energy and responses. He really helped me break that barrier of not caring about putting my face on. So like, but naturally, listen, I'm not social in that aspect. So But bringing the conversation around, it's like, you have to be active in the Discord, otherwise we will boot you. We don't want silent watchers. We want builders, people sharing their learnings, sharing what they find, sharing their problems, asking questions, really being a part of the community and building, right? That's what it's all about. That's up to you. So I think that what I'm gonna do for the sake of the bootcamp is start from a fresh instance. But in theory, you could start from an instance that you've been working on for sure. I don't see why not. You don't have to just start a fresh one, unless of course, maybe the instance you're working on, you're not happy with, you'd rather have a fresh start. But one cool little suggestion I'm gonna make throughout the bootcamp is feed your agent that transcript for each live stream as we go through it, as you're building each week, because there's going to be a week between episodes. So you're going to have a week of building, right? Most people will be very impatient and not want to wait for episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to structure it that way so that it is a mini series that lives on YouTube for the end of time, right? So that as OpenClaw and AI agents become more popular and accepted and people stop being so negative towards them and doubtful towards them, they'll realize the power in them. So then they might discover our live stream and then just start from episode 1 and binge watch all the way through episode 8. So recording them in real time live is gonna be very annoying for anybody tuning in live, because I guarantee you're gonna be very impatient. And as I was, when I was building out my systems and testing, I was on it every day. So like waiting a week is gonna be tough. But for the people who discover that bootcamp series after we're done with it, you can then binge watch it. So that's entirely up to you. I wish I had a better answer for you, right? But I hope that answers it. Yeah, Cloud Opus 4.6, Cloud and Codex on the $20 subscription. That's why I'm trying to get your thoughts on Mac Mini 16. Mac Mini 16 should be plenty. I'm personally running off of a VM with 2 cores and 16 gigs of memory attached to the VM. Now, are you running both the Claude and Codex 20, so it's $40 a month? If that's the case, it makes sense why you're reaching limits so quickly. When I was first experimenting with OpenClaw, it was rough, man. I would only be able to work out of it for 45 minutes and then it would max out the 5-hour session. So if that sounds like a similar time frame of what you're running into, it just sounds like it's just a limit to the $20 a month plan. Yeah. Listen, I don't want to send people down to buy the $200 max plan right now, because there's still no clarity on whether or not, they're going to outright ban AI agent use, any AI agent for that matter. Because OpenClaw is not the only one, it's just the most popular one because of its explosion, right? But that might be the move in your case. But again, I don't want to recommend that because we don't have clarity from Anthropic. And if anybody from Anthropic is watching, please just answer the questions that the community has. You like how I just self-moderated the cuss word there? Hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Your questions help me improve too, so keep them coming. I'm glad to help. Totally new to OpenClaw, so really haven't started anything yet. Yeah, no, hey, that's up to you. Listen, that's up to you. Going back to what I was saying about the boot camps, people who are tuning into each boot camp and anticipating the next one are going to be very frustrated with the 7-day delay. And the reason I'm not doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday until it's done is I want to focus on other things, right? There's other theme of the days I want to focus on those live streams. So I think the structure that I have is sound. It's just going to be very annoying for the first 8 weeks, right? But if you discover this, after the fact, you can just binge watch it and follow. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, why wait? Why wait? Start experimenting today. You can always tell your agent, say, hey, I want to start from scratch, delete all our data, reinstall, essentially reset this instance, right? If you don't care about all of the work that you put into it. That is always something you can communicate with your agent to do. Listen, you're not alone. You're not alone. I feel like so many of us feel this way. It's insane. All right, let's go back to the bootcamp structure. So everybody watching, please chime in. Does this schedule look good for the bootcamp starting in March on Wednesdays? Come prepared with OpenClaw installed and ready. Start from a completely fresh chat, fresh system, build everything from scratch, create the core markdown files, great. Basic front-end wireframe for every module so you can see the shape of the whole system, great. I think we can add something to that. I feel like that live stream might be too quick. Let me see what we can add. All right, so my personal notes, I'm gonna wait for community comments. I just told them to kind of follow along as I'm kind of going through this, but I think for episode 1, I think this current flow will be too quick. I think we can also build out at least one feature within each module. One feature in ops, one feature in brain, one feature in lab. And I think the features we want to hone in on for the ops should be a mission control. I'm going to call it task manager, right? But a majority of the industry, it's labeled as mission control. I think getting that working and visible, I think is a great starting point. Then the brain module, we should have a daily brief in place with a markdown render preview, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, no, I think we should build out the first layer of the skills. I'm kind of going back and forth. That might actually be too ahead of the curriculum. Yeah, let's go with the daily briefs. I think that's more important, right? That's more of a simple feature that people can fine tune from episode 1 to episode 2 while they wait for the second live stream. So that's solid. Sorry to go back and forth there. For the lab, let's focus on the dashboard. And then I think we should end the episode with the semi-wire 3 modules together so navigation works. We should also set up our first cron job for each module, right? So people get a taste of that on episode 1, the foundation, the skeleton, right? They get a taste of one piece within each module and then one cron job to tie it all together, right? Maybe we do 3 cron jobs, 1 for each module or 1 overall. I'm not sure yet. We'll continue to fine tune this as we go. But that's solid for episode 1. Episode 2, yeah, we spend a lot of time building out the ops module. I feel like this is gonna be a good episode here. I have nothing to add. Brain module as well. I think incorporating skills there is critical. That's solid. A lab module, that's great. Multi-agent team, solid. So I think this should reference the org chart, right? Episode 6, skills session and wiring. Looks solid to me. I'm sure I'll have some notes to add, but just on the surface level looks good. Wiring and fine tuning. Community showcase. I'm excited for that one to see what people build. All right, let's go check comments. Hopefully we have some suggestions on the curriculum. I'm just gonna scan through it real quick. Okay, nothing to add. That's it for bootcamp notes. Okay. Love it. Yeah, me too. I think right now the safest one to prevent getting banned is, and I hate to promote anyone, right? OpenAI, because they have been vocal about allowing it to be utilized by OC, OpenClaw. So I think once we get more clarity from Anthropic, I would definitely, listen, I love Opus 4.6. It's solid. And I want to recommend it. I want to recommend the setup token method, but there's just no clarity right now. And I don't want to send you down a path of paying for something and then getting your account banned. Also, it's been very clear to me that using the anti-gravity OAuth method, they've been actively banning accounts. There is a workaround with the Gemini CLI you know, pursue that at your own risk. But yeah, just let that be known. Google is definitely against that. Okay, interesting, nice. Good to know. I'll have to test this some more. I personally haven't, you know, I've tested Kimi 2.5, but not from this perspective, right? I've just tested the model itself. Do you mind my claw attending it? What do you mean exactly? Of course I don't mind. Everyone's welcome to join. It's a free boot camp every Wednesday, starting in March. You just got to show up. Are you talking about a bot in chat talking? That'd be fun. I'm not sure YouTube allows that, but that'd be fun. No, this is just for my reference, and then also something for us to build in public with, right? I've been putting this together with you on stream. I haven't worked on this outside of the stream because I wanted to be transparent about the process that's going into this and everything we're doing, and also get your feedback of maybe something else you'd like to see in episode 1 versus episode 2, 3, 4, etc. But I think we have a solid breakdown here. I really think we do. Yeah, so this coming week, I'm not sure of my schedule, right? Because it's the last week of the month. I do have some travel coming up. Hopefully I'll have the community feature on the YouTube channel done by then so I can just write a post. Worst case is I might live stream Monday as a surprise. It's not guaranteed. But March, the following week, is when we kick off the 3-day-a-week schedule with the theme of the days. Oh, which reminds me. So I updated this, right? So this was my kind of my approach. I might change the Monday silent live, but starting March, Mondays is going to be me working in public. I'm going to be doing ideation for Clearmud, working on new videos. I think I'm going to keep it a silent live to where I just have comments disabled altogether so that I can just focus and build, and maybe I open it up at the end. I think that's more of the move. That way I can actually focus on my operations and not get sidetracked. Free boot camp on Wednesdays, structured live, and then Friday Q&A. We just vibe. We vibe live, right? That's kind of I keep editing this chart, but I want to keep referencing this with the community so that you guys kind of know the schedule moving forward. And just let me know if you vibe with that. I did experiment with this, and I did notice my agent got significantly dumber going from Opus 4.6 to Gemini 3 Pro. Gemini 3.1 Pro, though, I haven't tested as my main brain, so I can't speak to that. But I think it's like with any new model. I personally think it's a myth that I'm sure maybe something happens somewhere down the line where maybe resources are going towards a certain model versus the older model. But I personally have labeled older models dumber once a new model comes out. But I think it's more so our expectations of that model. When we jump from one model and then back, we think it's dumber when really we're just used to this newer model. Yeah, it's I would say the best way to learn is to test it, because nobody's going to have a clear answer for you. I only know swapping from Opus, I think it was 4.5 at the time, to Gemini 3. I did not like it. It was not as sharp. But I have yet to test 3.1. But I think it's just a matter of testing. It doesn't hurt your brain to do that, right? Do it for the sake of testing for a few hours and then revert back if you're unhappy with it. It's just simply changing the model. But yeah, I mean, according to Stefano, I mean, you do save a lot of cash there as well. And then the trick is like not having your heartbeats run off of Opus 4.6. Heartbeats do not need an intelligent model, especially once you have your system in place. Use Gemini 3 Flash or Haiku or Sonnet. You should be good to go there. Exactly. It does right here. This is key, right? The work you put into your memory files and the logic of how your agent operates, the less the model matters. But I did notice personally that I just didn't like certain things about Gemini 3 versus Opus 4.5 at the time. It was bugging me. Ask Derek. He was learning my frustrations real time in the Discord. Yeah, for sure. Right on. So do you mean, this is a great question. Thank you for this. Do you mean the agent itself, like backing up your agent workspace to GitHub? Or are you talking about projects your agent works on, those Git repositories? Because those are two different things, right? That actually reminds me, dude, great question. All right, one thing we have to incorporate, I think should be a part of episode 1 is one of the cron jobs that we set up should be showing the user how to create a private GitHub repository and set an automation in place to back up their agent to that private GitHub repo. I think that's critical. We did a video on this, on the importance of backing up your agent in the workspace. So, but then I think in later episodes, I think talking about how agents utilize Git repositories for underlying projects that they work on should be an important talking point. I'll let you decide on what episode to place that second part, but shout out Myth from the community. Let's make sure we give him a little shout out on the Bootcamp graphic user interface. Myth by Design is his screen name. All right, we're adding that in there. Thank you for that. Yeah. So I hope that what I was just talking to my agent about was clear, right? I think episode 1, setting up the backups, right? Because then you get I wouldn't say a crash course, but you get a step-by-step on how to set up a cron job first and foremost, different approaches you can take. But then we'll also, go through GitHub and show that process for beginners. And then we'll have, one further down the bootcamp about, certain logic you can put in place to make sure things don't get overwritten and to address those horror stories that you've heard about. Nice. I personally have not. No, I'm the type of person when I have something working and it's flawless and it's solid, I don't fix what's not broken, right? There's that old saying, don't fix what's not broken, right? So me personally, I will start testing Minimax model. I've had a lot of people ask about this on another system. But when it comes to my system, everything I have in place, all the models I'm using, I am more than thrilled with everything, the way it's operating. I have had 0 issues. Well, let me rephrase that. Had a lot of issues at the gate, but once I got things dialed in and really focused my infra days on Saturdays and let my Monday through Friday be momentum based and work based and actually not going down a rabbit hole of trying to do something or trying to add something and then breaking something and then getting frustrated and going back and forth, spending hours that I could have just spent on Saturday. Once I developed that mindset into my systems, I'm so happy. Like, there's no reason for me to go pick another model. I am very happy with the way things are operating. But I think that's, also playing to like knowing the type of person you are. I know the type of person I am. I can easily tinker off and get distracted midweek. So I had to set that rule in place in my brain and my agent's brain to like, anytime I ask for infra updates midweek, it's like, hey, you told me this is only Saturdays. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. So yeah. Yeah, no, it's all good. These are great questions. So Peter, OpenClaw's creator, he was acquired by OpenAI. He's now on the team. OpenClaw is going to be saved, is going to essentially be sent to a foundation, right? And it's going to remain free, public to use for the future. OpenAI has been very, very vocal with the fact that they're going to allow anybody who use their subs to interact with their OpenClaw agent. There's going to be no restrictions whatsoever. Whereas Anthropic, on the other hand, there's been a lot of drama. Google OAuth tokens for anti-gravity, there's been a lot of drama. So it's that's why I think that long-term OpenAI is the move, unless Anthropic finally stops being so damn vague and comes out and says, I think it's in their best interest to keep the 20x max plans allowed to use OpenClaw and AI agents like it. But they just haven't been very clear about it. So we're in like this unique part of this industry where there's just no clarity from Anthropic, but there's plenty of clarity from OpenAI. So that's why I'm kind of thinking down the road, that might be my primary model, you know, at some point. Hey, glad to hear it. Nice, let's go. I'm excited to see what you build out for your son. Yeah, no problem. All right, let's go back to it. Yeah, I have no idea about this. I have no idea. I personally don't like how OpenAI is running ads on their free models. Yeah. That looks good. Where's the get part? Where did it add it in later in? Episode 5, okay. Do I have to do a hard refresh? Is that why? Git workflows for agent projects, how agents use repositories for the code and the build. Okay. Yes, I actually like this. So I think one other thing we have to add in for episode 5 is for the Git part, primarily, is creating skills and logic in place that teaches whatever agent you're setting up to operate off of, you know, staged versus production, but then also giving the option to create branches. I think is very important in teaching people how that works. Like, let's say, you know, one thing we want to highlight is you don't always have to build everything within your OpenClaw AI agent. One thing you can always do is build it in the CLI, right? Create a branch on a primary repository, and then have your agent pull that branch, right? I think that's something we should highlight in the bootcamp. Yeah, I think that's solid. Everything looks good there. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. I'll continue to fine tune this. I'm gonna make it a point to build this out on the live stream first and foremost, but then I think closer to starting the bootcamp, I'm definitely gonna spend more time in here by myself one-on-one, because as you know, I don't stream every day of the week. So I don't record my screen every day of the week. You know, I haven't seen the issues yet. I've been fine running Claude out of the CLI, but we'll see with time. So I think what I want to do is get ClawCrib to a point, now that we have the bootcamp dialed in. I need to think a little bit more about how we can improve this, but I think I want to get at least a model that we can at least push live that people can start playing with. All right, I'm loving where we're at with this version of ClawCrib. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this we're gonna merge this branch to main. So you need to think about, we need to properly link. Do we? Yeah, I think we should properly update the convex database to push from the development branch to the production branch. But I want to make the learn the first option. What we want to do is we want to hide the browse, the builder, the leaderboard, and the API. Well, I guess everything, just leave learn. I think when we first drop this tool, it should just be a visual resource that we improve on. So when somebody clicks practical implementations, okay, let me rephrase that. Let's start off with learn, builder, browse. But let's hide leaderboard, docs, and API and show off, because I want to kind of drop this in phases. And I want it to be more of a resource people can learn from first and foremost, before we incorporate the share your crib NPX package and API docs. All right, sending that to Gemini CLI for it to do its thing. And honestly, I think I'm gonna work on part of this tonight after the stream. This is giving me a lot of energy right now. I wanna continue to sift through all the documentation and then go from there. See here, check this out. Actually, go over here really quickly. I would say I love what it did with the memory architecture. It's a great visual. Switch accounts. Just doing some research off screen. Give me a second here. Voila. Soon we'll have a bot moderating for sure too, at some point. Yeah, it's not open to the public yet. Not open to the public yet. What I'll plan to do though is there's a few things I want to fine tune, right? I want to simplify things a bit. But I'll have just a super dummy model up. I think just like the learn part first. And then we'll slowly incorporate the browse and builder, since these aren't dialed in yet, right? What's up, Professor Trader, Prof Trader 77? I love that number. Welcome. I love it. Kick rocks. What generation are you from? Not many people say kick rocks. It's something I say quite a bit when I have to. That's great. But I'm thinking like keeping it a learning resource first, and then I'll incorporate the browse and the builder is kind of what I'm thinking now. Yeah, on second thought, I think the default homepage should just be the visual docs, the learn section, and then we'll incorporate all of the other tabs. So let's hide all tabs except for learn. And no need to call it learn 3D. Let's just call it learn. Hey, thanks, Stefano. Yeah, this is I believe you were asking about Gemini 3.1 Pro. Gemini 3.1 Pro put this together. I mean, it wasn't perfect out the gate. I had to do a lot of back and forth, a lot of vibe coding, but we got it dialed in. I definitely put the most work into this one here. But I think it's pretty cool. A pretty cool visual. And then I think the first default core concept that is being displayed should be the memory architecture. That should be up top. And then let's do automation skills, and then tool execution, and then multi-agent routing last. And then we're obviously going to be adding some more and improving on it. And then practical implementations, let's put coming soon there, because the version I want to push live on production, we just want this to be the resource first and foremost, this visual resource, and then we're going to incorporate the browse and the builder, right? But yeah, I hope to have this live by the time we are live with our boot camps. And not just this, right? I'm talking about all the features within this ClawCrib. So let's allow for this session. Actually, I'm kind of on the fence. I think browse cribs, these are relevant to the learnings. So I think the builder is something maybe we will, yeah, it's still under development. This is just a fun resource I started putting together, but I've been going back and forth on different approaches. And this past week of comments and community feedback just with the videos I've been making has helped me understand common questions and things that we can build out here to explain OpenClaw a little bit more. So it'll be live soon. It'll be live soon. The first thing that's going to go live is this, the visual docs, right? Because this is simply based off of docs.openclaw.ai, which is just helping you visualize everything. But then I'm going to be deploying this. It's hidden right now, but a share your crib feature. If you want to share off your crib and how it's wired, that's still very much a work in progress, but also a place for you to build your own if you wanted to kind of visually build your own and then export this config file into your OpenClaw setup. And then it takes you through a specialized onboarding process with the specific channels that you've connected here, right? So we're still kind of fine tuning it. I honestly had to put the development of this on hold for a few weeks, but I'm going to be actively working on this daily until it's live. So hopefully within 48 hours of this live stream, we'll at least have this part live with the basic browse of certain, basic setups and wirings in place. Yeah, I love this. Okay, let's go back to CLI. And yeah, I built most of it with Claude Opus 4.6, but now this 3D model side I'm building out with Gemini 3.1 Pro. All right. Oh, was I really just talking that whole time in Wispr Flow? That's hilarious. Yeah, so give me a checklist on what to do for deployment, on things I have to just go down the list, and I'll get this done after dinner. That's hella funny. I was transcribing that entire just flow. Hey, let's go. Yeah, happy building. Have fun. I'm excited to see what you end up coming up with. Like how you utilize it. That's what I'm very curious about, how people utilize it in their own day-to-day life and professional lives, right? I've gained a lot of inspiration of certain things I want to build out for my system based off of how other people's systems work. I mean, that's what sharing is all about. You're helping one another. Okay. Nice. Great. That's solid. So let's go back, refresh this, because I believe I did send some notes here. Great. All right. All right, let's do one final review here. And anybody watching this, please drop me some notes. I think in a year from now, all these processes will be drag and drop, easy peasy. I think in a year it's tough to say. I think there will be simpler solutions in place for sure. But one thing I noticed with Meta's, which they own Manus, they dropped their own agent. It was very easy to set up, but to me, all it feels like is another chat box LLM. Plus, I don't like how not being in control of my own system and data. So I think there will always be power behind open source and building your own infrastructure because you truly have control over your own infrastructure and all the data. But I think that, automation and simplicity comes at a cost, and the cost is usually privacy and control of your data, right? The more you trust in these other one-click deployments and one-click solutions, etc., the less control you have, right, over your data. So I think there's going to be a trade-off at some point. So I think in a year from now, I think there will always still be a benefit to running your own system. But do I know? I have nothing. Yeah, I don't know. That's just my raw thoughts for you right there. All right, I'm realizing that this looks like this is starting to glitch a little bit. It looks like that battery is almost dead. As soon as I get back to my studio, I do have a dummy battery to not worry about this, but it's good to know that at about the 1 hour and 45 minute marker, it starts to glitch. I already have set up OpenClaw on my Unraid server. I've connected with a Cloud Max subscription and trying to build my own browser game. This session tokens are maxed in like 2 hours of code. Wow. Wow, that's wild. 2 hours. You must be doing the most. Are you sure that you're not using the fast mode of Claude? I think using the high reasoning is totally chill, but the fast mode will burn through tokens so quick. It's unnecessary in my opinion, unless time is sensitive, right? But I'm curious to see, like, are you still good on weekly? Is this just your 5 hour session? Because I've definitely gone through sessions where I max out a 5 hour session for sure on the max plan. But yeah, that's wild. I can't wait to see. Nick, let me know what you're building. I'd love to play with this game. Let me know when it's done. Like, share it. Tag me on Twitter. I'd love to see it. Everything Meta touches. Yeah. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. So I loved Manus out the gate, and I was sleeping under a rock. I didn't know they were acquired by Meta until like 2 weeks after the fact, I think. I'm like, it left a sour taste in my mouth with Manus. Real sour taste in my mouth. It's a bummer. All right, let's continue going down this list. Review the bootcamp one more time. Solid. Private Git. Yeah, perfect. Great way to end the first episode. Solid. Wait, hold on. Back to episode 1. Yeah, that's the daily briefs is the feature we want to build, the task manager. Perfect. Lab dashboard. Yeah, so just reviewing the bootcamp curriculum one more time. I think episode 4, we really want to hone in on self-improvement via lab module. So lab module being responsible for self-improving your entire AI agent as a whole. So I think running through talking points of how I use self-improvement cron jobs for Clearmud OS and Muddy OS, right? I think it's a great way to give examples as well and give people ideas. It's definitely something we should do in episode 4. Episode 5 looks solid. 1 through 3 looks solid as well. Yeah, that looks solid. And then I think for episode 6, I think we should build out a build your own skill feature as well. I think that's all I have to add to that one right now. Seven looks good. 8 looks good. All right. Nice. Yeah, I need to play with this too. I know when I first started, I heard about it. I had to tunnel into a server back in California because in Europe they blocked access to it. I hope they open it up to the rest of the world, but I'll be back on that side of the world soon. Yeah, good tip. I've heard people running into using Grok, having great success. I haven't used it yet within OpenClaw, but you know, that's on my list for sure. Yeah, fix it first, and then tag me on Twitter. And then I think on Fridays, right, going back to our live stream, I think I really also want to do like community highlights. So Friday might be community highlights with like, what are you building? Let me demo it. Let me play with it. I think that'll be a fun concept to incorporate as well on Fridays with the new schedule. So, but yeah, first get it working. I'd rather play with it and see what you have after you fix your issues there. Yeah, now I'm curious. Let's just go check Anthropic, Drama, Claude, OpenClaw. And let's just search latest. I don't really see anything right now. Oh, interesting. There was a new update. Let's go check this out. Hey, I'm glad you like. Yeah. Let me know if you want me to kind of do one more run through of the boot camp. I think we have a solid structure here. For sure. I think it's solid. Oops. I was in a different tab, not there. Now in limited research preview, it scans code bases for vulnerabilities and suggests targeted software patches for human review, allowing teams to fix and find issues that traditional tools. So like, cool, but I already use Codex to do this, right? So here's what I would do here. I probably wouldn't read through this whole thing. I'm going to scan it really quickly. But this is also a little hack. When you see articles like this, yeah, Anthropic is just way too vague, right? But when you see articles like this, one little hack is, hey, Anthropic just dropped a security function. It looks like it's in a limited research preview mode. I'm going to paste in this link. I want you to analyze this article and let me know what stands out. You know, we currently use Codex 5.3 for our engineering division for our backend and security audits. Will this replace them, or do we continue using Codex 5.3? Also, summarize this article for me with key takeaways for the audience, because we are live streaming right now. Voila. So I always feed it links of interesting things I find that we can incorporate. Like tomorrow's Infra Saturday is going to be so massive. I'm so excited for it. I might actually start tonight. The only reason I'm hesitant on starting Infra Saturdays tonight is because I won't get sleep if I start it tonight. I know I will watch the sunrise. I know I will be up until 7 in the morning if I do that tonight. So I think I might. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. We'll see. We'll see how tonight goes. Here's the breakdown. They just dropped Cloud Code Security. Built into the web version. Limited research preview for enterprise and team customers. Open source maintainers can apply for free expedited access. Interesting. Scans code bases. Actually reads reasons about your codes. Okay. Biggest flex using 4.6. Anthropic's red team found 500 vulnerabilities in production open source code bases that had gone undetected for decades despite years of expert review. This is defensive AI, not offensive, built to find bugs before attackers do. It's not a replacement for your coding workflow. It's a security layer on top. It's built on Claude Code, so works within tools teams already use. Okay. Now, does this replace Codex 5.3? Let me zoom in on this response here. Sorry, I just realized that the text on screen was incredibly small for you guys. No, different tools for different jobs. 5.3 is our coding workhorse. Anvil and Cypher use it for building features, writing code, refactoring, and general code heavy work. That doesn't change. Cloud Code Security is a dedicated security scanning layer. It's not writing code for you, it's auditing code for vulnerabilities. Cypher, our security agent, currently does security audits with Codex. Cloud Code Security could potentially augment Cypher's workflow as an additional scanning tool once we get access, but it wouldn't replace the coding model itself. Think of it as Codex builds Cloud Code security audits. They're complementary, not competing. If anything, we'd want both. When this comes out of limited preview, it's worth applying for access and wiring it into Cypher's audit pipeline alongside what we already have. Cool, cool, cool. Let's revisit this in 2 weeks. And I'll look into see if we have access. All right. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm gonna go through this one more time. So I want to open up. I know you guys have been asking questions. I've been trying to answer them real time. I know I want to go through a structure of like opening with Q&A, ending with Q&A, and focusing throughout the beginning. But today we've been vibing back and forth together as a group. So I love it. Let's go through the questions here. What do you mean it's not supported? For OpenClaw? They publicly announced that you should be good to go. They're not going to add any type of restrictions. Yeah, like honestly, as soon as we get some clarity from Claude, I'll migrate my budget for Max to the GPT $200 a month one in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah. Even though I disagree with some of their ads approaches, I would not hesitate in that case. If Anthropic outright just is finally transparent and says no to OpenClaw. Are they? Yeah, like I noticed with Claude, like when I stopped using OpenAI, I canceled it. And then I would get like all these promotions, get a free month, get 50% off, or pay $5 or all these promotions. Anthropic does not care. They do not care. They do offer 50% off promotions through certain, influencers that they work with, but it's usually only on the pro plan, and it's only for 3 months, from what I've noticed. They do not care. So it's like, I think they have enough government contracts in place to where they just don't care. This is a good tip. This is a very good tip. Thanks for the note, Stefano. See, I love this. I love chat answering each other. This is great. Ooh, nice. For the issue generation, you mean image? Nice, nice. All right, what time is it? My stomach just started growling at me. So let's close out with some Q&A here. And then I think it's a great stopping point. Solid 2-hour stream. Nice. That's always going to be my aim, is a 2-hour stream. Although during the bootcamp series, I will not limit it to 2 hours. We will go as long as we need to go. And I think what we'll also do is a Q&A at the end of the episode. I think during the episode, it's going to make more sense for me to just go step by step in a manageable pace for you. But then at the end, I think it's more important to then address Q&A, because then people watching the recording down the road, since this bootcamp will remain free and listed, any issues people run into, we can address them at the end. That way, any common issues that may occur to people watching the recordings, I need to add this into our bootcamp actually, then we can address them at the end of each episode. All right, thanks for that. So going back to the bootcamp, I think at the end of each episode, we need to reserve a 10 to 15 minute Q&A period, because it's not going to be perfect for everybody, right? And I think that having the Q&A at the end of each episode will be very beneficial to anybody watching the bootcamp after the fact, after it goes live. If they're binge watching, if somebody runs into an issue during episode 1 that we don't address, right? The Q&A should address it. So let's make sure we add that to the end of each episode. Okay, great. Okay. Hey, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. I'd love to go longer, but I think 2 hours is a solid stream. And I think once I get back to North America, right, we're gonna keep the time zone the same as far as like the starting time. I might pick 10 a.m. Pacific over 9 a.m. Pacific. I like keeping it static. I like keeping it the same so that no matter what country I'm in, I try to always start at the same time just through the life of our live streams. So I generally start 5 p.m. Pacific in, this part of Europe. That's also 9 a.m. Wait, did I say 5 p.m. Pacific? 5 p.m. in European time zone, this part of Europe. But then that's also 9 a.m. in Pacific time zone. So as of now, we're gonna keep it the same start time starting in March. But if I change that, I will let you know, ahead of time. The beauty of if I push it back an hour, it's not like I'm bringing it up an hour to where you're gonna miss an hour of the stream. So you'll have sufficient notice there. I love it. Yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate all the comments and questions and feedback. Hey, okay. So you're ahead of me a little bit. I'm in Portugal. So I could tell by that name. I was like, I didn't want to misspeak, but I had a feeling you were Greek. The Antonia, I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but usually those first 5 or 6 letters is a dead giveaway to being Greek. So thanks. I appreciate you for being here. Yeah, so it's good to know that this time works, right? I would try to do my best to absolutely prevent any delay and start at the same time, even when I'm back in North America. I was working on a project similar to what you have with MuddyOS, but since I've seen the video of it, my roadmap has grown a lot since. You've inspired me to start building something amazing. Thank you, Spartan. That's what that video was all about, inspiration. Thank you. I love it. Hey, thank you. I cannot say it enough. Thank you for this. I'm truly grateful for the inspiration that video has sparked in countless minds. Tag me on Twitter, share what you build, share what is inspired from, right? I'd love to see it. that's, you know, sharing what you're building based off of our videos is the best way into our Discord, which is very intimate right now. And I want to keep it small. I want to keep it focused on builders. So if you're curious about the Discord, I'm going to say it one last time. Share what you've built. Just share it, tag us, share what you've learned, share where you're going, share where you've come from, right? As far as like the simple setup to where you are now. And yeah, just keep building. Should I use a different Gmail account other than my main? Yeah, so this is a common concern, right? Like, I would use a different Gmail. Unless you just don't, what's the acronym? I don't want to say it out loud. Unless you just don't give a, right? Create a separate one just for peace of mind to know that your agent doesn't have access to your personal stuff. I personally, with my AI agent, Muddy, he has his own Google Workspace user and account and Google Drive and email address and phone number. He has his own everything. It does not interfere with any of my personal or business contacts or anything at all. I wanted to make sure I did that. So I invested a little bit more a month for the Google Workspace. Alternatively, at the beginning of the stream, I shouted out, I think it was called Agent Mail. Yeah, Agent Mail. They do offer, I haven't tested this yet. So shout out to Raz Mike for the great video earlier. He shouted out this tool, but they have a very cool pricing module, 3 inboxes for free, no credit card required, 3,000 emails a month, 3 gigs of storage. This might be a great alternative to setting up Gmail, unless of course you want the Google features and apps. Then set up, you know, a Gmail account is probably what I would do. Wow, man, you remember the good old days before all this crazy tourism. I mean, Portugal has changed quite a bit since that year. I've seen it evolve since I moved here to live here part-time for the past 5 years. But I've also kind of seen it, I don't want to say decline, but things are changing, and I think changing for the better. But I think from like 2014 to 2024, it was just like the attention, the traffic, the tourism, it's just crazy. But once you get out of those major cities, it's just, that's the part of Portugal I love the most, is the smaller towns and cities. But yeah, I think this is a great stopping point. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to starting this boot camp with you. Keep the questions coming. Share, tag me on Twitter, share what you're building. That's the quickest way into the Discord. You know, we want builders. We want people not afraid to share what they're building and help one another, more importantly. And yeah, let's see. I'll keep you posted on next week. I still don't know what the live stream schedule will be, but I will give you a teaser. Next week's videos we have in how to set up Claude Code agent teams. So this is a Claude Code CLI video, so it has nothing to do with OpenClaw, plus a demo. And then I also have a fun one, an OpenClaw AI agent versus Claude Code CLI vibe coding comparison. The results shocked me, if I'm being honest with you. They shocked me. So those are the 2 videos dropping next week. They're almost done. I just need to finish some minor front, intro editing. But yeah, and then after that, I'll give you a sneak peek. I do have an OpenClaw AI agent skills video that's going to drop, as well as a multi-agent team video. And then this one's backlogged a little bit. This was requested from an old video. But then we have the Muddy OS deep dive as well. So these are in the queue. They're coming soon. I just want to make sure I continue my process, right? My process here was, my first milestone for the channel has always been get to 100 videos while making sure each video you release is better than the last. I learned something new, whether I communicate, the way I present information, my editing techniques. So listen, we're only at 70 videos, I think, or 69 videos. We still have a little ways to go before that 100 video milestone. So I'm here to show you the process. And yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Appreciate you. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. I have an Instagram account, although I'm not using it. I suppose LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, tag the Clearmud account. I'm a little behind on responding to those DMs, but I'll get to them soon. Yeah, thank you, Myth. Thank you all. Appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, what's up, Greek? Creek NYC Studios. Is this a new account? Let's go. Yeah, I can't wait either. I'm excited for it. So yeah, that was a long-winded outro, but thanks again for being here. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend. Relax. Don't forget to touch some grass. I just saw the sun for the second time in 2 weeks. It's been raining out here crazy. So I'm going to be enjoying the sun this weekend. Pizza day Sunday. And I'll let you guys know the schedule next week during my week of travel. So until then, happy building. Cheers.